Okay, so we just need something this afternoon to just bring some calmness amongst all of the tensions of the day. So this is a little oasis of calm. So get yourself ready. If you prepare your space with some care, then it will make sure that you can really relax. So have a blanket to lay on top of your mat, have a bolster under your knees, have blocks underneath your feet, and have a folded blanket for underneath your head. Just make sure that that folded blanket feels comfortable and evenly folded. Make sure that you're going to be warm enough, so have a blanket to cover yourself up with. If you can cover your eyes, then that is also a good bonus as well. So just come down onto the floor. So the bolster underneath your knees, the folded blanket underneath your head, and then just cover yourself over if you're cold. So don't be in a rush to find your comfort, but just allow yourself to just experience the straight line of the floor. So this first minute or two of just laying on the floor is just really blissful, I always think, especially if you've had a really busy day. Just allow yourself to sink into the ground. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. And let go of the muscles of the arms and the legs. Unhook the muscles of the arms and the legs. If you discover that you're not comfortable, then adjust until you are. Just allow yourself to release into the ground. Just consciously observing the tension or otherwise of the muscles, and allowing the body to relax. So it can be difficult to relax. So just acknowledge how you're feeling right now. Draw your attention into the soles of your feet. Draw your attention into the sole of your foot, the sole of the feet, and then consciously relax the soles of the feet, using your out breath to soften the underside of the foot. Relax the soles of the feet, releasing the skin and the muscle and the bone. And then draw your attention to the tops of the feet. Feel the consciousness of the skin and the muscle beneath. Draw your consciousness into the top of the foot and then consciously relax the top of the foot, the skin and the muscle and the bone. Relax the tops of the feet. Let go of the tension of the feet. And then draw your attention into the shins. Just be conscious of the shins. Draw your attention into the fronts of the shins and allow the fronts of the shins to sink into the bed of the calf muscle. Allow the fronts of the shins to sink into the backs of the thighs, just completely relaxing the shins. Relax the kneecaps in the sockets and allow the fronts of the thighs to sink into the backs of the thighs. Allow the fronts of the thighs to sink into the backs of the thighs so that your legs become completely relaxed, reliant on the bolster and the blocks to support your back. Allow the legs to completely relax into the floor. And draw your consciousness into the abdomen and the pelvic region. Draw your attention into the abdomen and the lower ribs, feeling that the body is filling with an energetic lightness. Relax the abdomen and the rib cage. Just soften the muscles between the intercostal muscles, the muscles between the rib cage. Softening the chest. Just relax the intercostal muscles between the ribs. Let the shoulders sink into the ground. Let the abdominal region really soften. Release the neck and the shoulders. Letting the upper arms sink into the ground. Letting the lower arms sink into the ground. Take a deep inhalation and then allow the body to sink into the floor with the exhalation. Let the arms relax, let the shoulders and the upper arms and the forearms and the backs of the hand completely relax. Draw your attention into your upper arms and the lower arms and the hands and the palms. Just feel how you can fill them with energy. Just continuing to move the breath around. Let the arms and the forearms and the hands rest into the floor. Feeling that softness around the shoulders. Relax your arms into the floor and then soften the neck, soften the shoulders and your neck. Let the arms rest into the floor, let the shoulders relax, let the neck soften, resting into the blanket. Observe any tension around the head. Again, soften the skin around the face and around the skull. Allow the facial muscles to completely relax. Just allowing yourself the permission to relax completely. Just focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate breaths. Okay, when you're ready, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, and then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, have the feet apart and the knees together, and then just rest into the floor. And then very gently roll over onto your right side, and then just push yourself up into a seated position. Just come up into cross legs. Just sit yourself in cross legs. Just observe your energy. Just breathing even deep inhalations and exhalations. Just observe the energy that you've released just from that basic relaxation pose. Okay. So we're going to do our reclining pigeon. So you can just, you leave the bolster where it is, you take the blocks away, and then you come down to the floor. Let me show you. Hi Andrew, how are you doing? So nice to see you. So just come down onto your back like this with the bolster underneath your knees, and then just one leg. You're going to bring your right leg, just rest that leg on top of that foot on top of the thigh. Now you might want a little bit of extra support, so it's quite nice, I think, to bring that leg across and then just to rest that block underneath the thigh. So you're just opening gently up that front hip and then release. So the reclining pigeon pose. So again, just cover yourself over. And then come into your reclining pigeon. So again, as ever, you just, if you need to adjust the position for comfort, then do. Comfort is always our priority. So just allow yourself to sink into the floor. As you know, as we progress into the sequence, I'll speak less and less so that you're not having to listen, you can just relax. So initially this probably feels like it's not doing a great deal, but it's because we hold the pose for a long time. So as you stay, perhaps you start to feel how the bent leg hip starts to open up a little more, how the pose begins to transform. And then just straighten out the top leg, just uncross the leg, just let both legs just sit underneath, sit on the bolster for a moment, and then bring the other leg across the top of the thigh and then support that leg if need be. So the other foot is sitting on top of the thigh, and again give it some support. Just move the bolster if you need to, just to give yourself additional support. So the one leg is straight, the other is bent, the foot resting on top of the thigh. Remember to have that block just to rest the lifted thigh. Just let the hips sink into the floor, let the straight line of the floor support the spine and the shoulders and the head and the arms. And then just gently lift the bent leg. Just stretch yourself along the bolster again. Just stretch your legs along so the bolster is underneath your knees, just resting into the floor. And then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, have the feet apart the knees together a moment, and then gently roll over onto your side, and then push yourself up into a seated position. Just have your hands on your knees, lift up into your chest. Just feel how the hips feel a little open, how there's energy in your legs. Okay, we're going to do our supported child's pose. So if you can, I want you to have as big a lift as you can underneath you. So 2 bolsters is really good for this, but if you haven't got 2 bolsters, I'll give you some alternatives. So if you've got just the 1 bolster, then get a couple of blocks like this and lay your bolster on top of that, and then you're going to come forwards, lengthening it along, and then resting down. You can have on top of your bolster, you can put you can have a blanket on top to give you a bit more lift. So just go for maximum lift that you can get. If you're doing 2 bolsters, I often have the oblong bolster down first, then my tubular bolster on the top, and then the bolsters are between the knees, and then lift yourself up, lengthen the abdomen along the bolster, then let your head rest onto one side, let your arms hang down onto the floor, and then just let the body drape over the bolster. So we're going to stay for a little while, about 5 minutes. So in that time, just every now and then just swap the position of your head from one side to the other so that you give yourself a good release in your neck. So if your elbows touch the floor, then just bring them a little wider apart so that you're not consciously supporting your weight with your elbows. So don't forget to swap the position of your head. Just periodically changing the position of your head. Okay, push your hands into the floor, sit yourself back up onto your heels, just lift chest, just observe your energy, that lightness of your energy. And then move the top bolster, or if you've got blocks underneath your bolster, then just move those out of the way. Have a folded blanket for your head. And then we're just going to do the heart pose, where you just lay yourself with the bolster underneath you, underneath your back. Just guide yourself down along the bolster, and then let your legs just stay straight. So it's like a Shavasana legs. Then just cover yourself up for warmth and comfort. And then guide yourself down. Make sure that your head feels supported, it's not rolling back. There's enough lift underneath your head. So the chest really gets a broad opening action with this pose. Close your eyes. Allow yourself to relax. Just focus on normal inhalations and exhalations. Remember, you can adjust if you don't feel comfortable until you do feel comfortable. Just remember that you should never just stick with discomfort. You should adjust the pose until it's comfortable again. Push your elbows into the floor. Bring yourself up into a seated position, just hands across legs. Just observe your energy. Just the openness of the chest, lightness of the energy within the upper body and the legs. And then we're going to finish off in our basic relaxation pose, the one that we started in. So just have tubular bolster underneath your knees if you've got one. Have a blanket underneath your head. This time you don't need the blocks underneath your feet. Just have the bolster underneath your knees, and again just cover yourself up for warmth. And bring yourself back down onto the ground. Just initially observe how perhaps your body feels different to how it did at the beginning of the session, how maybe the body feels that it's full of lightness rather than the heaviness of fatigue. So just release into the ground. Let the muscles unhook from the legs and the arms. Let the physical body become heavy on the ground. But feel that sensation of energetic lightness radiating from the bones and into the muscles, bringing warmth and energy into the muscles and into the organs and into the flesh and the skin. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of energetic lightness evenly down into the toes, into the fingers, and up into the top of the head. Just feel that you are filling your body with good, light, positive energy, basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. Okay, when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, just bring yourself back into this pose of Shavasana, and then bring your feet onto the bolster, have your feet together and the knees apart, just resting your back into the floor. And then gently roll over onto your right side, just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg. Come back up into a seated position. Just a final cross legs with your hands in the Masti. Just drive the breath in through the nose down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this evening, that gentle practice that brings energy and lightness to the body and the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest, lifting your chest to meet your chin. Just spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. A good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy around the heart area. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger in contact with the tip of the thumb. Just a gesture of wisdom and peacefulness that you can carry into the rest of your evening. And then when you're ready, raise your head and allow your eyes to softly open and focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you've really lifted your energy and you've given yourself good positive energy to put into your evening. So thank you very much for